So what was the approach to practice today after the spring game?
Well, a lot, because spring game is kind of a different deal. It's very watered down because you're splitting guys up into teams. There's a bunch of guys not playing because of the live tackling, so you're protecting guys. So today was probably much more in depth than the spring game was, of us getting really a look at things on film and things that we really want to get done.
What kind of instructions do you give the players now going into getting ready for finals, going into summer?
Well, a couple different ones. One is start with finals. It's huge. We got to finish strong in the classroom. We got a couple weeks left of school. There's a little bit more time, but what I've always noticed with experience is more time leads to less studying sometimes. When you get into that routine and you're very, very structured and organized, then all of a sudden there's free time. Free time expands instead of, hey, let's keep the same schedule and just add 2 hours of studying. It becomes, let's add 4 hours of off time. So we got to finish up strong in the classroom is a huge part. And then, the next biggest one is where we pick up. You got what, about 15 weeks until we practice again? Does that sound about right? I didn't count the actual weeks. It was about 15 weeks until we practice. That's a long time going into a season. Imagine you're a golfer, or you're a tennis player, or you're a basketball player, or you're a baseball player. You take 15 weeks off before we start the season. It's probably not a good thing. Working skill sets. So they have got to go work on both, on technique, on fundamentals, on their scheme and studying film, and they got to be better players when we come back than we were today. If we have taken any step backwards, it'll be a long season.
ESPN listed Malik Deer out with a knee, and then we saw him brace and pro day. Any update that you could provide on him?
Yeah, he tore his ACL early in spring. He's had the surgery, so it'll be it'll be a while before we know where he's at and whether or not he'd be available next season or not. I think it's going to be probably well into August before we have an idea whether or not he'd be able to play next year.
Looking back at the whole, just the arrival of Todd Grantham, how do you think your defensive unit handled that and progressed under him?
I like what I've seen, out of the defensive guys. I've seen steady improvement, a little bit more confidence in what they're doing, consistency of play, and I think that's important. But I do think it is huge, because they just kind of learned it all, and I think there's a little bit of confidence leaving spring ball. It's those guys now have got to mentally work this summer to play at that same level, because if we come back and it's kind of like, all right, just because I haven't done it a lot, it's the first time going through some stuff, we have to go way back to start over, then that'll set us back. But if we can kind of pick up where we left off, I think we'll have a chance to be pretty good on defense.